No, I'm never gonna Hello, hello, beautiful people. How are you? It is me. I am him. All right, good. Hello, hello, hello. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure we're live. Um, as I am solo at the moment, so I just want to make sure everything is copacetic, and everything is copacetic. Going to be sharing the links. It is week 18. We are here. Do not adjust. I am on my own, but that's okay. My brothers had things to do. Because that's life. But we're gonna get it rocking. We're gonna get it rocking. Gonna let a few people jump in here. Might have some special guests. You're gonna have to forgive me. I will be taking sips if I am solo because I am still under the weather. Because the weather in this region of the world of America has absolutely been trash for like a month now. So, um, who is this? Bro, listen, if you are gonna be on the internet posting about people that died, make sure you have your facts straight and your facts current. That's all I say. Anyways, no, we did zero promoting for this show, but that's okay. All right. Hello, 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 beautiful people. It is week 18. We are here. We made it. We made it. Round of applause. Round of applause. Give yourself a pat on the back. We made it. We made it to the final week of the regular season. Um, and let's just start with what happened last night. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Panthers had to win or have Atlanta win in order to make in order to win the division. The Bucks need Atlanta to lose now. So the NFC South will actually be decided by the third seed and the fourth seed in that division, being the Falcons and the Saints. And if you're the Buccaneers, you have nobody to blame but yourself. We can talk about the injuries, but they got healthier as the season progressed. And if you look at their last, I would say maybe 6 weeks, I mean, just horrendous, absolutely, absolutely horrendous. Um, what they've been doing. So we can start off in anywhere. They lost to the Lions, okay, whatever. But then they lose three straight to the Patriots, the Bills, and the Rams. They beat the Cardinals, but then they've lost four straight now. They before yesterday's game, they came into that game on a four-game losing streak, and they didn't have a murderer's row of opponents. It was the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins. That's not a murderer's row of opponents. But yet you lost 24-20, 29-28, 23-20, 2017. So yeah, we could blame one person or another. To me, the blame is on everybody. The coaching staff, the quarterback, and the defense. Those are obviously the top three. I mean, defensively, where you at, Todd Bowles? Like you lived on defense. Well, defense was getting gashed in the run game. On the flip side, what happened to the run game? Buccaneers could not establish anything in the run game. So I think absolutely horrible how the Buccaneers have finished their season. Me personally, I hope the Falcons win today because I don't want to see Tampa in the playoffs at all. And by the way, the NFC South champion is probably going to be hosting the Los Angeles Rams next weekend. Not good. Sam Darnold, Seahawks, Brock Purdy, 49ers, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan. Round of applause for everybody. Both those organizations, both coaches, both staffs, both quarterbacks, everybody on that roster. I believe Kyle Shanahan is the coach of the year. But my number two pick was Mike McDonald. And with him now locking up the number one seed, I am perfectly okay with Mike McDonald winning the coach of the year. I just am because he's been incredible. And we could talk about analytics and rosters and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's an old school football coach. He makes great decisions. His situational awareness is phenomenal, and his football IQ is just bar none. So a lot of credit to Seattle. Sam Darnold, tip your cap to him. All I mean, you could say whatever you want. You could be as much as a hater as you want. It don't matter. The man is the number one seed. Man's got home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. He is only the second quarterback in NFL history to win 14 plus games in back to back seasons. You know who's the first? Y'all know. I ain't even got to tell you. You know who's the first. We all know who's the first. Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady, aka GOAT. Say what you want. How about Darnold? Say what you want. And even the Jets' former head coach in Robert Saleh said, even though he did not get to the Jets when Sam Darnold was there, that organization was not ready for a franchise quarterback. For a former head coach to say that, that is a huge indictment on the organization. But we ain't here to talk about the Jets today because they are absolutely irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. And they're probably going to be irrelevant next year and the year after that. Um, but that's where we at. As far as today is concerned, a lot of games at stake, but really, I mean, a lot of games on the lineup, but really there's only about two or three that mean anything. So obviously the Saints and the Falcons game, that's going to determine who wins the NFC South. The Saints are representing the Buccaneers. The Falcons are representing the Panthers. Simple as that. Um, Packers, Vikings. Packers are basically locked into the seventh seed. They're resting their starters, so that don't mean anything. Now you got Tennessee, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Houston. That's a seeding thing. The Jaguars need to win to lock up the division. More than likely, they're going to win, but that's a game to keep an eye on because Tennessee, as we have seen, there have been games where they click. And even though they haven't won many, they've at least made it interesting in some of those games. So I think Jacksonville's like a 12 and a half point favorite. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty comfortable rather taking the Titans with the 12 and a half points. But the NFC, the AFC South is still up for grabs. And again, where do you want to finish? Where do you want to line up? Because if you are the AFC South winner, then in all likelihood, you're getting the Chargers. If you are the AFC South winner, in all likelihood, you are getting the Chargers. Do you want that? Or would you rather go play the winner of the AFC North? Again, especially this year, it's not about who you play, it's about who you avoid. Like there are certain teams, regardless of record, seedings, whatever, that just present difficult matchups for certain teams. And in the AFC, and I think for the Jaguars, the Chargers present a bad matchup. Even though they beat them 35-6 last time, that's not going to happen again. So we'll see how it plays out. I think in the AFC, how it is right now is how the day is going to end. Now that seldom happens in the NFL, but I think how the day is right now is how the day is going to end with the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars as the 1, 2, 3 seed, the Texans, Chargers, Bills as the 5, 6, 7 seed. That fourth seed is the AFC North, which we'll get to, because that's gonna be how I wrap up the show. Um, Other games on the menu that matter: Chiefs, Raiders lose. They get the number 1 seed. Is Pete Carroll gonna come back another year? I doubt it. I think for Pete, um, I don't think he's gonna be back. I think this is gonna be his last game coaching. Period. Um, Unless there's a team somewhere with a good foundation that's willing to give him a chance again. And there's nothing against Pete. He's an all-time great football coach. Whether you want to NFL, college, whatever, Pete Carroll is an all-time great football coach. Um, and the Raiders right now just have bad management. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. You tried some things last season and it failed miserably with Geno and Pete. You drafted Ashton Genty, which you shouldn't have done, but he's there. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I expected more from the Raiders this year. I really did. I thought the roster wasn't terrible. I just think the execution has been obviously miserable. So um Cardinals Rams. Now this game has a lot of significance. Because if Arizona loses, which they will, so let's go to the Rams. If the Rams win, they end up being the fifth seed, which is what I said earlier. More than likely, the Rams are going to win. Sean McVay has said it from the day. Matter of fact, after they lost last Sunday, or after the game last Sunday, he was like, "Yo, we are playing next week." Yeah, they lost. They lost to the Falcons, unbelievably. He said, "Yo, we're playing. Everybody's playing. We got to play better," and I like that. And they can improve their seeding. They can improve their seeding, and instead of having to go to Chicago or having to go to Philly, they're going to end up going to Carolina or Tampa. And San Francisco is going to end up going to Chicago or Philly. Now, Philly is resting their starters today. Um, Jalen Hurts, I believe Saquon, I believe AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So Lane Johnson's going to be back for the playoff run, which is a big deal, obviously. So if you look at the NFC now, I think how it's going to play out in Wild Card Weekend. Obviously, you got the Seahawks as the number 1 seed. I think same thing. This rarely happens, so it's not. The Bears will be the second seed. The Eagles will be the third seed. NFC South, who cares? Then you got the Rams, who would end up being the fifth seed, the 49ers, who would end up being the sixth seed, and the Packers, who would end up being the seventh seed. So, wild card weekend, you're going to have the Bears and the Packers, round three in Chicago. No Micah Parsons, but they're going to be healthy on offense. Josh Jacobs gets a week off, get that knee right, because his knee has been a problem all year. It's not, obviously, he's been able to play through it, but that swelling hasn't had a chance to go down. They haven't had a chance to fully recover. So, giving Josh Jacobs the week off is going to be crucial. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Deltavian Wicks, Matthew Golden. Obviously, not having Tucker Kraft is going to rear its ugly head, but that's going to be a very intriguing matchup. Very. You got division teams meeting each other in the playoffs for the third time in one season. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Doesn't matter who's not there. It doesn't matter who's not there. Anything can happen. And then you'll have the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers, which I think is going to be an incredible game. I mean, incredible. That game is going to be incredible. And I don't know how it's going to go because you have two defensive-minded wizards, and then you have two offenses with 49ers. We'll see what they are. With the Eagles, we know what they can be. They're the world champions. So that's going to be a very great, very, very, very good matchup. And then you're going to have the NFC South winners, Panthers or Bucks, hosting the Rams. I know the Panthers beat the Rams earlier in the year. I know everybody's out on the Los Angeles Rams, or at least most people are. I'm not. The Rams, to me, over Seattle, over Chicago, over Philly, are still the strongest team in the NFC. They're going to get Devontae Adams back, healthy. And then hopefully defensively, they get back to how they were playing in the first 3-4 months of the season. Because the last couple weeks, there's some things there that concern me. That I will say that. They've given up some big plays. They've done some uncharacteristic things. So we'll see how that transpires. I'm gonna stay with the Steelers Ravens till the very end. Let's talk about coaches. Let's talk about you and me. All right. So obviously, every year the coaching cycle, the GM cycle, there's about 6, 7 coaching jobs available. 6, 7. This year, there's a lot of conflicting reports. Like I'm reading a lot of things and hearing a lot of things these last couple of days where they are inferring that there are not going to be that many coaching jobs available. I'm going to disagree with that a little bit. Obviously, for the Giants, they have Mike Kafka as the interim coach. They already fired Brian Daboll. So that's one open position. The Titans, they have Mike McCoy. They already fired their head coach earlier in this year. That's another position that's going to be open. The belief is that Pete Carroll is going to be gone. Um, so that's a third job that's going to be open. Now let's talk about some of the elephants in the room. The Dolphins. They fired their GM earlier in the year. There's thoughts that ownership really likes the head coach. There's also thoughts that ownership is going to stick with the head coach over the quarterback, which might be a thing in Baltimore as well, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Or later. There's a belief in Miami with the Dolphins organization that they're going to stick with the head coach and move on from the quarterback. So we'll see if Mike McDaniel gets fired. Personally, I think with how they've played after a horrible start, I think there's a chance he keeps his job, which would be fascinating. Now, look, I like Mike McDaniel as an offensive person. I think he's a great play caller. I think he understands how to draw up plays. Obviously, that's how he got the job. But I also think he's a great play caller. I don't think he's one of those guys that just draws up plays on boards. No, I think he's a great play caller. Do I think he's a head coach? No, I do not. But does it matter what I think? Because the players seemingly played for him this past year, over these last few weeks, and that matters in the grand scheme of things. That matters. So we'll see what happens with Mike McDaniel. Sorry, McDonald. But he good. He gonna be in Seattle for the next 12 years. Um, Kevin Stefanski. I actually want to group these three guys in this conversation. Kevin Stefanski, Browns, Zach Taylor, Bengals, Raheem Morris, Falcons. So the Browns, according to the reports, are discussing whether they should let go of Stefanski or not. They're having a conversation. The Bengals basically announced, without announcing it, that they're keeping Zach Taylor. All reports indicate Zach Taylor is safe. Uh-oh. Business is picking up. Business is picking up. Business is picking up. Um, as my brother makes his appearance here soon. And oh boy, he is joining at a very interesting time in the conversation. So I'm gonna keep talking until he gets on camera. Um, the Browns, like I said, discussing. They're having conversations about what to do with Stefanski. The Bengals have basically already said Zach Taylor is safe. There is everybody believes, the reports indicating Zach Taylor's job is safe. The Falcons with Raheem Morris, who I think is doing an outstanding job under the circumstances. The Falcons apparently, allegedly, reportedly have already brought in consultants for the next head coach. Why? What am I missing here? What am I missing? Somebody help me out. What am I missing? Because I thought I know this game. I thought I know what I'm looking at or what I'm talking about when it comes to football, when it comes to NFL football in specific. So what am I missing? That Zach Taylor is safe, that Stefanski is not on the hottest seat in the world, and that Raheem Morris is apparently already fired. With 3 weeks left in the season, they brought in a firm to help them with their head coaching search. Excuse me? Excuse me. Excuse me. How did it work out for Miami when they booted Brian Flores out the door? How did it work out for Chicago for 10 years when they booted Lovie Smith out the door? What are we doing here? What exactly am I missing? Raheem Morris, under the circumstances, has been incredible. Has been incredible. Ownership gave Kirk Cousins that giant contract. They wanted Penix. Coaching staff wanted Penix. Or one of those quarterbacks at least. They got Penix, who I think is going to work out personally. I believe Michael Penix is going to work out. I have all the confidence in the world in that. So you got Michael Penix, who basically was on his rookie year, first year as a starter. He gets injured. Kirk Cousins comes in. Okay, cool. They had all these injuries, specifically to Drake London and et cetera, and their offensive line. But then you look at their defense, they got two pass rushers and a star in their secondary who are all rookies. They have three rookie stars on defense. And the same thing I said about Mike McDaniel earlier. Like, for whatever it's worth, for whatever it's worth, the Falcons, the players, they played for Raheem Morris these last few weeks. They played for their head coach. They responded to their head coach. You look at what they because I mean they were we thought they were going to be picking in the top 5 a few weeks ago. Now here they are, and after today, they're going to have the same record as their division winners. The Atlanta Falcons are about to have the same record as their division winners. But yet we're firing our head coach when we're only in year 2 of a program that's clearly ascending. What am I missing? I think it's time we discuss the elefante in the room. Shout out to Key and Peele. That's a bunch of slap ass organizational structure. If we're going to get rid of Raheem Morris in year 2. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Without getting into specifics, I am going to be within somewhat proximity of Atlanta over the next few months, over the next few weeks. I want to know who this firm is because they about to get slapped.
Good morning.
So, hello, Mr. True.
I'll be joining on. I'm gonna try to join in the camera. I'm kind of,
You good?
undisclosed.
Uh,
But let me just say something really fast so
please, because
everybody
what
can
am I
get.
missing? Help me out.
Well, I think the only thing that we're missing is that this league is very, very buddy buddy, and nepotism is at an all time high. We keep on seeing coordinators that are. I got Norv Turner's distant cousin, second father, baby daddy's uncle, who is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
coordinator now in the NFL. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, he might not love the yeah, he's a Turner, but did he love the game like Norv did? The answer is no. We got to stop with the nepotism. Like this world has become so much of a, and it always has been. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
This is true.
And that right there is a bigger, this is an even bigger testament to all of the stuff that you're saying right now. What has Raheem done wrong, and what has Zach Taylor done right? These are the
Thank you.
questions that we have to ask. What has Stefanski done wrong or right? And we turn around and we say this: if Stefanski stays, I think you have to trade Shador.
Which
That's
is
not his guy.
crazy.
That's not his guy.
It seems not. You're right. But
It's
that's why he has to
in
go.
more than one way. In more than one way, it seems like this. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say this as well. Like, I still think, and this is where certain things about the black head coaches and things like this start to become even more relevant. It we can't keep saying that racism or those type of things or prejudice does not come up in these conversations
Mm-hmm.
and does not live in these conversations.
Uh-oh. Well, we have a chancellor of logic joining the program to chime in this conversation. And Big Shot, before you jump in there, I mean, This is a conversation that needs to be had. And you look at like for example, Matt Patricia, when he was a hot defensive coordinator, he went to a team that had a quarterback. Why is it that Aaron Glenn, who was the second hottest coaching candidate, ended up only getting a job with the Jets, only getting a real shot with the Jets? It's a conversation that, as we thought it might go away, no, it's only getting warmer. Jump in there, Big Shot. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So let me give y'all kind of the conversation locally here in Atlanta about Raheem. First of all, you look at the state of the NFC South. That's like strike one.
Mm-hmm.
This was a team that's supposed to win 10 games, go to the playoff. Here's where Raheem is getting charged with. Lake, as the defensive coordinator last year, is one strike. He fires Lake. They bring in Ulbrich. That's going well. But then Zach Robinson, as the first-time offensive coordinator this year, is strike two. Strike three is, if you look at the Falcons' season this year, special teams errors have cost them at least 3 games.
It has. You're right.
Be it kicking or coverage issues. Now, I think where we're at, Mo, the reason the firm is here, allegedly, is because this is what I think is going to happen. This is sort of the word. Because of everything I just talked about, they're not going to make the playoffs. It's going to be very simple for Raheem. Either you go or you make wildly significant changes to coaching staff. And there's the thought that Raheem may not want to do it. And if he doesn't want to do it, then we're here. The Kirk Cousins debacle, we'll call it, is absolutely on management and up.
Yes.
That is without question. I think the Michael Penix draft pick, while the Penix pick made sense, I think to do that in tandem with signing Cousins, nah.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
So my thought is going to be, there is a case that Raheem stays. But there also is, but to me, there's more of a case for the full blowout. And it's Raheem, it's Terry Fontenot, it's everybody. Because if you look at the Falcons season, it's a combination of everything. This Falcons team, talent-wise, is a 10-win team. It should be comfortably winning this division. But when you have the kicking issues were, they had 4 weeks to get the kicking issues right. And Mo and Germans, in this league, we only play 17 games. It's not the NBA with 82. It's not Major League Baseball, 162. In this NFL, 4 weeks can cost you.
Absolutely.
4 weeks can end your season in this league. And they didn't do anything. Well, I'll put this. Raheem / I forgot the special teams coordinator's name. But this is essentially what he's getting charged with. It's the 3 bad coordinators with Lake last year, Zach Robinson, the special teams coordinator this year. And I think the conversation becomes, Raheem, you can do it, or we're going to do all of you.
Yeah.
What you want to, I think that's where this is going. So the firm is here, I think, to do whatever legwork they're going to do. First of all, that's the job we need at Views. We need the football head coaching consulting gig. Troy Aikman got one. Dan Marino got one. All these NFL teams get these firms for coaching. That's the gig we need. Sign us up for that. We get had Germ out there pounding the pavement in Ohio, finds a new coach in Cincinnati and Cleveland. It'd be great.
Absolutely.
But to your point, Mo, and I'm gonna get back on the view. That is kind of the local thing of what's happening with right.
So,
It's
so
really
that
it's the coordinators and essentially his unwillingness to do it, his unwillingness to essentially fire people, and
yeah.
now it's become if you don't fire them, we will fire you.
First of all, that is tremendous information, and I appreciate you sincerely for it. If that's the case, obviously that shifts the conversation slightly, because as a leader, obviously you want to maintain continuity, and then anybody in management in the business world understands employee retention is a metric for success. However, also understanding when a change needs to happen is a top of the list for a leader, for a manager. And so if that's the case, now that shifts the conversation. The Zach Robinson thing, he got that job because of McVay, Shanahan, McDaniel. He was sort of the water boy for Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay.
Exactly, which
So,
speaks to Jern's point about football nepotism. And if
mhm.
you and again, and y'all can go back and watch the film. The offense they run with Kirk Cousins is not the offense they run with Michael Penix.
It is not.
They have run the pistol formation, which has been a subject of much talk down here. They have run like 60% less of the pistol with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. It's not even the same. So literally, this is me with my uneducated football eyes. It's not the same playbook.
It's different. Now that could be a
And
Kirk Cousins thing, but it's working out better.
right, right. It has worked with Kirk, which the question has been, you've had this young quarterback with Kirk for 2 years. Why wasn't Michael Penix prepared to play under center this year when he basically sat for 14 weeks last year, didn't play, and he got no prep. He got no prep under center. Preseason, Michael Penix didn't play preseason. So again, I know you want to get to some more coach stuff, but I just
No,
want to
you
jump in real
good.
quick.
No, you good.
The Raheem thing on its surface looks like, man, they doing Raheem dirty. Raheem has made his bed on a couple of things, and he's gonna have to. And we're gonna see if he ends up lying in it.
Listen, first of all, the Raheem thing was actually the biggest part of the segment, because the only thing left to talk about is the Ravens Steelers for today's show, because we'll be live tomorrow.
Let me ask you something real quick. And I know we're gonna get to Steelers Ravens. You really think both Ohio coaches survive?
That's the report on the streets. Which again, to Germ's point, because okay, I'm going to be completely objective here about Stefanski. Okay, do I think he's a bad coach? No, I do not. Do I think he's capable of running an organization? Yes, he is low key the most successful head coach in Browns history since they moved back to Cleveland. Like, that's not a stretch. That's just fact. However, it goes back to the Dolphins and other situations, like the Harbaugh Lamar thing, based on the smoke.
Right.
Are you going to pick the coach or are you going to pick the quarterback? Because I don't think Stefanski wants Shador. And I think the way he's handled this season leads to, okay, maybe we have to go in a different direction. Because I think he's butchered it.
That was going to be my question for Germ. Germ, I know you off camera, but if you could respond. Is this going to be a case of not necessarily you choose Shador or not, but it becomes because we so badly mangled this quarterback thing with obviously Deshaun was hurt. Okay, cool. We draft Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel. We draft Shador, and there's a chance we don't like any of them. We don't like any of them. So is the consequence because we mangled this thing so bad? I would again, Jeremy, if you could respond, we're gonna be a high pick in the draft. We're gonna take Dante Moore or Mendoza or whatever, whoever shakes out in this draft, and then Gabriel goes, Shador goes, and everybody who was involved in that whole thing is gone, except maybe Stefanski is the holdout, and then he gets to pick the next one. Is that Germ? You can hear me? Is that possible?
I want to know what Germs has to say about this.
So let's. Woo. Okay. So listen, let's start at the top. Coaches don't win them, but they damn sure lose them.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is my opening statement right there for you, Big Shot. So let's start right there. We have had in Cleveland, since Stefanski has been there, Baker, Deshaun, Joe Flacco, now Shador, and Dylan Gabriel. That's 5 quarterbacks. He's been the coach here in Cleveland for 6 years. So that's damn near a quarterback every year.
True.
So how is he an offensive mastermind or guru? And we see Baker flourishing somewhere else. Joe went to have a better season somewhere else. Deshaun has completely regressed. Dylan Gabriel looked trash. And Shador has looked better under the play calling of Reese than he has under any circumstance with anything to do with Kevin Stefanski. That's the first part. That's the first indictment.
Keep cooking. Keep cooking.
The second indictment. There has been no significant offensive talent that has developed in the Cleveland Browns organization since he's been there. Everybody that has improved have left the building or whatever the case may be. And that right there is another indictment. There is no retention of any top tier talent that stays. There has been no consistency from any player on that organization offensively. And he was supposed to be an offensive mastermind, an offensive guru. And Njoku had one good season. And Njoku is about to be 30 years old. He was drafted as a 20-year-old player and has had only one season that has manufactured Pro Bowl respect or any type of warrant around the league as a talented player.
Before you keep cooking, if Njoku would have played, let's say, with Breeze, he'd have been Jimmy Graham. But keep going.
Then we go to the next part of this. Nick Chubb was probably the most consistent player that the Browns have ever had as far as the trifecta, the Holy Trinity, we'll say. Production, fan likability, and being a staple in the community, as in what he stood for. You let him go to the Houston Texans.
Yes, they did.
Instead of bringing him back. And you bring in an all-rookie class of running backs. I'm not saying that they're not talented, Ronnie, because talent is not, at that position, talent is always plentiful because there's always young, hungry guys. But what the hell are we doing to let a guy like that in an organization like this walk away?
Jeremy, I'm going to jump in there real quick and then let you cook. For those of you wondering about the Nick Chubb take, number one, for years, the reason we didn't crown anybody as the undisputed best running back in the league was because of Nick Chubb. I mean, we got to get that perfectly clear. There was people comparing him to OJ and Jim Brown and Derrick Henry and you name them.
Yep.
And if you want to know what impact, even as he's gotten all these injuries. Just ask Woody Marks and the Texans' interior offensive line what Nick Chubb has meant to that locker room. Yeah.
Jern, I continue to cook. Continue to cook. I think my question is, who's gonna end up making this call?
Haslam.
Is it
Haslam has to.
okay?
I mean, Ronnie, that's the perfect thing that you see. I love that you asked that question because this is what I'm talking about with the Raheem situation. Raheem's getting indicted for all these different things, but Stefanski's sliding through. He's sliding through proverbially like Ferris Bueller on his day off, and I don't understand how that's fair. That's not a. We're talking about. Look at the Brown special teams unit. The Jets had a parlay type of day on the Browns
They
and
did.
won
They
a
did.
game.
Yeah.
They had a kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown in the same game. In the NFL, how often does that happen? Every game the Browns have lost, there has been a big kick return, and they've lost a lot of games. That is the most asinine statement I just made. Every game that the Browns have lost, there's been a big kick return or punt return at some point in the game,
That's
and they've lost
2010.
13 games. That's insane to me.
So do you
Yeah.
think if it's so you say Haslam, so does that mean Haslam and then you kind of funnel that thing down? Is it Andrew Berry then who decides this?
Andrew Berry might be the only person in this organization, the only piece of that management team besides Schwartz, who is safe. I'm going to explain why. Andrew Berry has at least put pillars on this football team. That entire draft class, if you take the Dillon Gabriel decision out of there, has set the Browns up to be successful the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, that's business. That's showtime right there. Because you got the tight end that you can use to replace Njoku, who needs it's time to go. It is time to part ways with that player. Not because he's a bad player, but because he needs a fresh start.
Okay.
You have gotten
Yeah.
your defensive tackle, Mason Graham, of the future. You have gotten your quarterback of the future, if you so decide to stay with Shedeur. Because there is no way that Shedeur went from the consensus number 2 or top 5 pick or top 20 pick that he was to a 5th round pick at all, considering he was light years ahead of the evaluation of every quarterback in this class. In fact, Shedeur was so much of a lock of a first round pick last year before all this nonsense happened. He was graded on the same scale or level as some of the elite quarterbacks that we talk about in the game before him. There's no way that Cleveland, in this situation, if you are going to be smart, if you are going to do the right thing, and I'm going to close it with this.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to do the right thing, Stefanski has to go. The offensive coordinator needs to go. They all can get the hell out of there. Jim Schwartz is your head coach, coordinator, whatever it is he is, because he is the only person there that his unit is producing. They've been a top 5 defense since he's been there. How are you you've wasted the prime of one of the greatest defensive players we have ever seen, from 21 all the way up to being 30. Myles Garrett, when he retires in the next 5 to 10 years, will probably be the sack leader. And you wasted his first 9 years with this. What? And he has 22 sacks. And he has seen 25% less pass snaps than any rusher in the history of this sport that has this significant number of sacks. They specifically run the ball because they do not want to deal with him on the defensive end. I need people to understand that's a level of dominance that Bruce Smith didn't even have. That's a level of dominance that Lawrence Taylor never even seen.
Okay. I'm okay with Bruce Smith.
No,
I'm okay with
Mo.
I'm
We got to
okay
be
with Bruce
objective
Smith.
here. Lawrence didn't have people saying we don't want to run the ball at him. They don't want to run the ball. They run the ball away from him now. They don't even run the ball at him anymore because he's making. The man
We'll
has
discuss
more
this at a later date.
TFLs. No,
Mhm.
the man has more TFLs than your favorite linebacker.
I am not going to argue the dominance of Myles Garrett. Okay.
You listen.
But we
A
not going to
little
do
bit
no
under. Listen,
LT diminishing.
the little stash up under the mustache is not the same. There's
Hey,
extra added
let
influence
me,
and natural influences. I'm not doing that.
hey, let me ask y'all this, and I know y'all trying to get to the big game.
Yeah, we good though.
And Jerm, I know y'all are both very much fans of Joe Burrow. Let me ask you something. I think there is no way in HE double hockey sticks Joe Burrow is traded. So I think let's just put that.
Facts.
Let's get that out of here. But if you're Cincinnati, I'm not a big fan of teams like tank, tear it down, yada yada yada. I'm not a big fan of that. But based on the way Cincinnati Bengals deal with payment, based on the way we know how the Bengals deal with the payroll. The W-2s and the I-9 form is a little light in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? You know how this rolls. Is it conceivable that you say, Jamar, we like you, but we don't like you that much, despite his unbelievable talent, despite the unbelievable production? They look at that thing and they say, we paying number 9. We just paid number 5. And even though Jamar Chase arguably might be the best wide receiver in the league, I'll let y'all argue that. Is it sustainable to have all 3 of them?
No.
And saying number 9 goes nowhere.
Ronnie, see, I love when Ronnie comes and asks logical questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mo, I'm gonna be quick.
Go ahead.
I proposed two scenarios, right? One of the scenarios that I proposed, Ronnie, was actually getting rid of Jamar Chase. Not because he's a bad player, not because of anything negative.
You're right.
But because $50 million, who you think you kidnapped? Chelsea Clinton? That's where we at with these players right now. The money is so bad that we are paying 2 players almost 45% of our cap. That is insane. There are 51 other men that we need to pay, and we are paying 2 people 45% of our cap. And then you add T. Higgins, and that makes it 55% of our cap.
Yeah,
These are not official figures, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 45 and 55% with
first of all, I don't doubt your figures. Number 2, we just know how the Bengals roll. We just know how this goes in Cincinnati. Josh Storm, shout out our man Josh Storm, has talked about this forever.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, again, y'all too, as guys who are Burrow fans and et cetera, is this the plug that gets pulled?
So, first of all, Jerm, just to make sure I have this right, you want 20 million in 50s, 20 million in 20s. So, okay. Yeah. So the Trey Hendrickson is going to be off the books next year. Joe Burrow is going to be 48 million, T. Higgins 27 million, Jamar 26 million. And then Orlando Brown was going to jump up to 21 million. So those four guys, you're talking about 50, 70, plus 50, 120,000. So that's 50% of your cap in 4 players. That's
And
that's
T.
not the
Higgins get paid more than Jamar Chase and ain't got half the production. Listen, you are SH and me.
And
I'm
see,
not doing it.
to me, and that's where to me the rubber meets the road. Because
yes.
if I'm Jamar Chase, yeah, team, yada yada yada. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks because it is Sunday. There is no way I will continue to be the lowest, the second pay receiver on this team.
Mm-hmm.
No chance.
You
No.
talking about the same dude with when he went to Baltimore them 2 times last year? I don't believe T. Higgins played in either game, and he had a career day both times. We're talking 10 catches, 200 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
So we're gonna end this here because I want to give at least 10 minutes to the Ravens
Yeah.
Steelers.
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow for sure. I really want to get into the T Higgins Jamar thing because who's going to be worth more in terms of a trade value, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Coaching, there's 2 coaching jobs for sure open. I think 6 will be open. 6 more will be open after tomorrow, which will lead to 8 head coaching searches. I just want a yes or no answer on this next question. Is Bill Belichick going to get one of those jobs?
Yep.
No.
Okay, love it. I got a yes and a no. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think there is a lot of truth that Bill wants to go back to the NFL. I don't think anybody wants Jordan Hudson in the NFL, and that's just my opinion.
Mo, I'm gonna give you something really good real quick.
Mhm.
If I'm Cleveland, I call Bill 2-3 years. That's all we need.
So
Bill, let's
Mhm.
right the wrong that we did in '96.
I actually think the team that's going to call him first is the team that was going to hire him after he got let go by New England, which is going to be Big Shot's backyard at the moment. With the Falcons.
Bro,
I think if they get rid
that's
of Morris,
insane.
I know. I could just see Big Shot right now. I think if they actually let go of Raheem, I think Bill Belichick will be one of their top people on the list of people to call. Anyways, 12:45. We got a 10-minute segment. Big Shot, you're more than welcome to stay on. It's the Ravens and the Steelers. This is with all due actually no, with the exception of the Packers and the Bears. This is the best rivalry in the NFL by far. It's Packers Bears, it's Ravens Steelers. These teams don't like each other. The cities don't like each other. Dion and Tanya don't like each other. This is nothing but pure just animosity. I don't want to say hatred because obviously when you look at these two teams, there's always a lot of mutual respect. There's a lot of animosity. Not like the Bengals Steelers rivalries with Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict and all those guys where that was just chaos. You talk about the 2008 season with Harbaugh's first year. They played 3 absolute classics that year, including the Troy Polamalu pick 6, which is one of the greatest defensive plays I've ever seen. Talk about the 2010 season and the classics they had there. You talk about Mike Tomlin tripping Jacoby Jones, RIP. You talk about the immaculate extension with Antonio Brown. This rivalry never disappoints. So I'm gonna start with this, Germ. Big Shot, feel free. Would either of these organizations be wrong to go in a different direction with a head coach after this season? Tough question. I know.
I don't think they would be wrong, but I think if you are, I'll say Pittsburgh. I need to know again in a similar vein, who the HE double hockey sticks is picking quarterback next year?
Exactly. Because you know what it's gonna be? It's probably gonna be Kirk Cousins.
And again, if I'm the Steelers organization, do we want to do this song and dance again? We've gone the old man route at quarterback 3 years in a row. We tried it with Russ. We're doing it with Aaron. If it's Kirk Cousins or now, if I'm Pittsburgh, and again, this is a bigger topic show, I'm going to tell you the call I'm making. I'm making the 3-hour time difference call to the Bay Area. And I'm going to say, what is the price on Mac?
Yes. 1,000% yes.
But that's the big issue. The Ravens, I think if you're the Ravens, I don't think you're wrong. I think, though, you have to say, is Jim Harbaugh getting everything out of the talent on the team that he can?
So,
and I think there is a real argument to say the answer to that question is no.
You know, there's some unbelievably phenomenal islands with great resorts, but you can't take a direct flight to them, right?
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, I give him all the credit for not only the development of Lamar, but the transformation of the team to cater to Lamar's strengths. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
So I give him all the credit in the world, and especially include Ozzie Newsome in this conversation because that's his legacy pick. But I think we have gotten to the point with John where, we appreciate you are the connecting flight to our ultimate destination. I think that's where we are. That is the most practical way I can put it. He's a great head coach, but when you look at the way they've blown leads, when you look at certain details that are overlooked, when you look at certain situations that he's not doing what he would have done normally. And I want to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? There are times where I look at him on the sideline and he just seems so disinterested. So disinterested. You know, and again, I said it on Happy Hour, Big Shot. If this is a Steve Bisciotti decision, I think he's going to go with Harbaugh over Lamar. If this is an Ozzie Newsome involved decision, he's going to say, hey, John, we won a championship. We had a great run, but we got to move forward with this quarterback and bring in somebody new. Infuse a different leadership to this locker room. If you want, John, you can come upstairs and sit next to me.
That'd be an easy out. That's a clean out.
Right. Like just come and sit next to me, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do. You can help pick your replacement.
No.
Hit me with it,
Is
True.
this thing on?
Germ Almighty, that's your name today. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
I just need this one thing to be said. I am not a person that feels like John is good, bad, or indifferent in this conversation. I don't have an indictment on him. I don't have an indictment for real for Mike Tomlin. Because I'm going to infuse both of them into what I'm going to say. But this game is the winner take all, loser needs to go game for me.
The LinkedIn Classic.
Yes. The LinkedIn Invitational, if you would like.
Indeed it is.
Indeed.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because Mike, last week, you fumbled the bag at the 1 yard line. You allowed Aaron Rodgers to methodically worry about not giving up a sack to Myles Garrett and lost you the game. No, unacceptable. The Browns scored 10 points. They scored 10 points, bro. 13 points, my bad. You couldn't score 13 points, Aaron Rodgers, against Cleveland. I understand the defense is good. We're not saying the defense is bad, but you scored 13 points, bro. You couldn't get 16 points as Aaron Rodgers, the greatest, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Sorry, I can't subscribe to that. Mike, you fumbled that. Next, and I'm gonna make this really, really, really clear. John gave Derrick Henry last week, and this is why he's indicted. You gave Derrick Henry all those carries and all of that work last week. Imagine had you done that in 5 to 6 games this year.
Mm.
Lamar wouldn't be hurt. You would be in a total different situation where you would already be in the playoffs, and your team would be playing a lot better football. I
You're absolutely right.
am not going to look over that unless you right your wrong and we get to the postseason. One of them has to go at the end of this game.
Okay.
Whoever loses, this is the end. This is the end. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go to jail. Go directly to jail. That's what this game is.
So, all right. Again, we want to wrap it up. Big Shot, we appreciate you joining. By all means, feel free to join this conversation tomorrow. Let's just go to the bottom line here, Germ and Big Shot. He left. Who wins today, Germ?
Oh boy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if the Steelers can stop the running game if they decide that they want Derrick Henry to do what he did last week.
Derrick Henry has ran for 200 yards the last 3 meetings against Pittsburgh, but they're 1-2, or I think, or 2-1. I don't know what it is, but either way,
They're they're probably 2-2 because they won 2, then they lost the last one, and then they lost the first regular season meeting with Russ. But the last 3 meetings or whatever the case is, they're 2-1.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
No DK Metcalf today.
Mm-hmm.
This Mike Tomlin's last game as a Steeler, man. I'm sorry, man. I love Mike.
Facts.
I love Mike Tomlin to death. I think Mike Tomlin is still one of the 3 or 4 best coaches. I just think that it's time for him to get up out of Pittsburgh. I love Mike. I think the person who needs to go the most, Mo, if I had to pick one to go the most, is actually John.
I agree.
But I just think that you can't come back from this, bro. I just don't think that, bro, you fumbled the ball, the bag at the 1-yard line, bro. You fumbled it at the 1-yard line. You made all of these great adjustments. You've done so much this year. Like, he's come such a long way this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is still a great coaching job. Don't get me wrong. Because that
100%.
organization was injuries, and they didn't have a safety at one point for 3 weeks.
They did not.
And you had a chance to get 10 wins out of that season, bro, and you didn't. Yeah, you did. You no.
Yeah,
no, couldn't do it.
So I cannot pick against Pittsburgh today. I can't. I have too much faith in Mike Tomlin. But I'm looking at this from an objective standpoint, and coulda, woulda, shoulda. The Ravens should have won that game a few weeks ago. I mean, they just should have. Without DK, I think for Pittsburgh, it is so important to get MVS involved. He is the person that's going to open up that offense. You get him involved, all of a sudden, Pat Fryermuth is going to have more space. Jonnu Smith is going to have more space. You can throw some not so tight window throws to Thielen and Scotty Miller and Gainwell and Warrens. I think the most important offensive player, not just today, but if they win today and get into the playoffs, is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. That's number 1. Number 2, defensively, this is on you today, defense. This is on T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward and the rookie Harmon and Ramsey and Samuel and Joey Porter Jr. and Patrick Queen. This is on you today. This is on you today. Make no mistake about it. I think Baltimore is going to win. But I got to roll with Pittsburgh. You could call it bias. You could call it whatever. You could call it sipping the Allegheny River water, whatever. Or the Monongahela River, or the Ohio River, whatever. You say what you want. That's why they call it Three Rivers. I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers today. I think Baltimore wins, but I'm rolling with Pittsburgh. I have to. And I agree with you 100%, Germ. If anybody should go between these two, it should be John Harbaugh. So we'll see what happens. Last question, Germ. Is this
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers' last game in the NFL? If they lose.
If they lose, it should be.
Okay. If it is, as critical as we have been here of Aaron Rodgers since we started, and they're all warranted criticism, I would just like to say, if this is your last game, thank you. Because the greatness can't be we can't discount double check it. The criticism, ain't nobody gonna convince me that me and you were our third missing link were ever wrong in our criticism of him.
We work.
But we have never denied.
Well confirmed.
Right. So either way, and also a special thank you to everybody in the comment section. Shout out to my sister and my brother-in-law who's in the comment section, MJ Ham. Everybody. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, Germ. It was an absolute pleasure being back this year. The best is yet to come, baby. Believe me. We will see y'all tomorrow. We will see y'all throughout the week. Enjoy today. God bless. We love y'all. Take us home, True.
22. We see y'all tomorrow.